Hey, DC, did you get to see your son's recital, and how was it?
What's that?
Did you get to see your son's recital, and how was
Yeah,
it?
you know, yesterday when they called me about this on Monday, I told Dave Schaller, the PR guy, I said, well, I can't go. And he was like, why can't you go? I said, well, my son has his spring performance at school today on Wednesday, and I was like, I can't miss it. So anytime you deny the UFC something, the PR department or anyone else, then Dana starts to call. So when Dana started to call, initially I was hesitant to answer because I knew what he was calling for. And when I said, well, I can't miss my son's performance. UFC, man, we work for a great company. They actually sent a camera crew out to my kid's school and they streamed it to my phone this morning. So I got to watch my boy sing, and he had a solo performance, so it was good. And I appreciate all that the UFC do. So, yeah, I got to watch it. It was great.
Hi, Dana. Ronda was a very brash champion, and Holly was a very quiet champion. How would you describe Misha as champion?
No, Misha's great. Misha's, Misha does, she does just fine as champion. She's a great representative of the sport. Been around for a long time, been one of the best in the world for a long time. Other than Ronda, she's been the best in the world for, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, I don't know. But yeah, she's awesome. She's great. People love her.
DC, everybody respects your opinion on what's going on with the fighters. Can you talk about the women's divisions right now and what you think is going on?
Yeah, it's very exciting. You have young Jacek and Gadelia fighting at the Ultimate Fighter finale. Great fight. Very close fight the first time. Split decision by Joanna. A lot of people thought Claudia won. So I was at Tough Talk last week, and they were on. And, man, the things these women say to each other, they had me glued to the TV. And you guys didn't even get to see all of it. It got pretty bad. Misha and the change in the division, it's awesome. A lot of times when you have a champion that's as dominant as Ronda, you don't know what to expect in the fight. You're like, how is she going to win this time? Well, Holly went out and showed that nothing's guaranteed. John, take note. And also, nothing's guaranteed. And also, Misha going out and beating Holly, and she was behind. She never gave up on herself. If you've watched Misha fight over her career, you know that there's never a time that she gives up. So it's a very exciting time for the division. It's great.
John, so you had an issue. You talked about how it was difficult for you to change opponents right away. Do you think that will make DC change up his style to throw you off?
What do you mean?
So you've been studying him for months and months.
Ma'am, I'm not changing anything. I'm going right at his ass. I'm not changing nothing. I will tell him right now. Last time I didn't take John down as many times as I wanted to. This time, they're going to say fight. I'm going right over there to take him down. You guys
didn't take me down at all.
I'm going to hold his ass down for 25 minutes. I'm going to take him down and hold him down for 25 minutes.
Sean,
Hey,
your response to that?
DC's been lying to you guys for a long time now.
I'm lying.
Hey, listen.
I'm lying.
DC told you guys, and I quote, I'll take John Jones down 10 times out of 10 times if I want to take him
100.
down.
I said 100.
Right?
Don't quote wrong.
So far, we're 5-0.
You
Me.
didn't take me down 5 times.
I've taken you down 5
You took
times.
me down 3 times.
I've taken. Listen, last time I foot swept you, held my hand on your hand like you're my bitch.
Hey, what about I threw your punk ass down? Hey, John, that is your highlight. I slipped at the end of the round.
Hey, and this guy's supposed to be the Olympian.
I am an Olympian.
Come on, man.
I'm supposed to be an Olympian. Go look in the record books, buddy.
Come on,
I am an
DC,
Olympian.
you suck, bro.
You suck.
You suck. Hey, listen, if you...
John, put up John.
Hey,
John.
you called me a bum. I beat you 4 rounds to 1. It wasn't even close.
Okay.
Bro, you're not even my toughest opponent. Like, you're chump change.
John, guess what, John? Guess what?
You're chump change.
I got people over here going, it won't happen again.
You chump change,
It
bro.
won't happen again,
You chump
Johnny boy.
change.
Hey, guess what, John?
You chump change.
John,
You chump
Movement
change.
St. Preux doesn't go 2 rounds with me.
Hey, you're
You
chump
went out there
change.
and
It's
fought him
easy to
5
say
rounds.
that.
You're
It's
a
easy
bum.
to say that.
Okay.
I'm the bum that took your undefeated record, bro.
Yes, you did. And
Yes.
you made me cry too, remember?
And I made you cry.
I can't even get through practice without crying. You didn't do anything. I cry in
I
practice.
made you
son.
cry.
I cry in practice.
Hey, where's Cain Velasquez? This dude's about to cry
Hey,
again.
I cry. I'm fine.
I think
Hey,
DC
that's
needs a
another
hug.
one you used already. Stop regurgitating information, young man.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Dennis, George Willis, again, New York Post. I wanted to clarify whether you have spoken to Conor in the last couple of days and maybe get a clarification on why he thought he was back in UFC 200.
I haven't spoke to Conor since the press conference.
Hey, John. Another great performance by Demetrius Johnson. He also faced an Olympic wrestler. Can you give us your assessment of Demetrius's fight and how you feel about DC as a wrestler as well?
The reason why I believe Demetrius beat Henry so well is because Cejudo so well. Yeah, it's because it's the same situation with me and DC. I'm a complete martial artist versus a wrestler. You know what I mean? So DC's a wrestler who's learned how to punch. I'm a complete martial artist. Same thing with Demetrius Johnson. Complete martial artist versus a wrestler who learned how to punch.
Hey,
this
DC,
isn't a wrestling match.
DC, can you want to respond to that, DC?
Yeah, well, honestly, the last guy I fought, nobody's heard from him before, and I didn't take him down. Like, where's he at? Where's the last guy I fought? Has he retired? Where's Gustafsson? I didn't take him down the whole time. The moment Gustafsson walked out of the octagon with him, he was calling for a rematch. He's never asked to fight me again. When I get my hands on this guy, watch, you'll see a difference.
How many times did Gustafsson take you down, a kickboxer?
Hey, guess what? Gustafsson's gonna take me down.
Three
you can
times?
Take down, hey, takedowns to me, honestly, I realized after you took me down, I was like, they don't matter. They don't really do anything when they take me down. I go forward, I pressure you guys, and this time...
You pressured me and got that ass whooped.
No, actually, John, you didn't do anything.
Oh, yes, I did.
Hey,
I made you cry.
Alexander Gustafsson
I had you
beat me up.
crying.
Hey, Gustafsson beat me up.
I had you
much worse than
crying.
You did.
I had you crying.
Question for Frankie Edgar. Frankie, arguably George St. Pierre, yourself, and a couple other guys that weren't Olympic wrestlers are some of the best MMA wrestlers out there, better transitions, best transitions. How do you respond to having, this talk about Olympic wrestling versus MMA?
They're different sports, I think, setups are different, timing's all different, some wrestlers come into MMA and kill it, some have a problem making that transition, I think it's case by case.
And I would just say the same question for Miesha, since you're also a pretty good wrestler.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you guys. To answer the question, the stance is one of the biggest things that I think is really different, and you get to punch people, so it's an entirely different setup. You got people real low to the ground wrestling, you got people standing tall in MMA, and you can use striking as a setup, so it does translate, honestly, completely different, but it helps to have wrestled.
Question for Frankie. A lot of fans think that not only can you be a 2-division champion, but a 3-division champion. If given the opportunity to drop down to 135 and fight Dominic Cruz, would you take it?
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself quite yet. I know it seems like whatever weight class I go, people are telling me to go to lower one. I want to make sure I get this 45-pound belt first, and then who knows? We'll see. It's gonna be tough to pass that up to be a possible 3-division champion.
Amanda, in your eyes, what makes Miesha Tate beatable?
I think Miesha, as a fighter, she have a lot of holes in her game, stand up, ground game. I have all the tools to beat Miesha, and I'm gonna show you guys. She beatable. She have all the, I take my time, I'm gonna beat Miesha, whatever. Stand up, ground game, and we wait. 200 is coming.
John, it looks like you're more loved now than before you left. Do you find that that's the case?
Yeah, I definitely feel a lot of support. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you guys, for sure.
Welcome to New York. Let's take the mic to some of the fans here. Raise your hand, you lunatics. Oh, wait, media. Hold on.
José Aldo, vez passado você luta com Frank Edgar e foi 5 rounds. O que você acha que a luta vai passar essa vez? Porque você perdeu para o Conor McGregor muito rápido e ele está muito fome. O que você acha que a luta vai começar essa vez?
Last time you fought Frankie, the fight went off in 5 rounds, and you lost to a Conor pretty quickly. So what do you think is going to happen now? Because he's very hungry and he wants to win.
Então, acho que aconteceu com minha última luta, isso acontece 100 anos. Isso para esse cometa Halley passar de novo, é muito difícil de você ver. Eu acho que a luta é uma nova luta, acho que aquela luta que ficou para trás já. A gente vai escrever uma nova história. Tanto eu quanto ele, a gente está faminto, querendo esse cinturão. Então, pode ter certeza que o Sean não se arrepender, que vai ser a melhor luta da noite.
That was a rare occurrence. It's like the Comet Halley passage. It only happens once every 100 years. You guys can rest assured I'm very hungry, just like Frankie is. We're going to give you guys the best fight of that night.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I have a question for John. The last fight, you said that you showed only 20% of what you can. What do we have to expect from the next fight? With
Yeah, so
DC, yeah.
so my last fight, you know,
I'm a big fan of you, honestly, really.
Say it again?
I'm a big fan of you.
Oh, thank you
Yeah,
so much,
that's
man.
why.
Where are you from?
I'm from Russia.
Russia, nice. Spasibo.
Uzbekistan.
Yes. So in my last fight, you know, I had a lot of stuff stacked up against me, man. You know, a lot of you guys don't really realize what's been going on in my personal life. You know, my mom is in a real bad position. She's really losing a fight to diabetes right now. She got her leg cut off the same week of my fight, so that really messed with me a lot. You know, I was in jail the same month of my fight. Just going through a lot of stuff, man. I hadn't fought in over 15 months, and you know, everybody's talking about my performance being so bad. I got punched twice. I won by unanimous decision. So it's like, you know, if that's a bad performance, then look at the level that, you know, people expect from me. It's really not a bad problem to have. You know what I mean? So, you know, I went out there. I didn't feel comfortable in the octagon, and I still absolutely dominated that fight. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, you know, I believe everything happens for a reason. You know, I got that ring rust off of me, and I got right back to the strategy and the game plan that I originally had. I believe I'm going to annihilate DC. You know what I mean? So far, it's all I've ever done to pretty much every opponent. Alexander Gustafsson is the only person that had a competitive fight with me. So when I sit here and tell you I'm going to annihilate DC, you know, the people who don't believe me, just wait and see. You know what I mean? So yeah, expect to see a hell of a lot more out of me this next fight. You know, I have a strong strategy for DC. I listened to him commentate my fight, and I got to hear all the things he thinks he know about me, and I'm just like, you guys will see. And new, absolutely.
This question's for Frankie. Frankie, you're one of the toughest 145-pounders in the history of the 45-pound division. You have some of the best wrestling as well as some of the best submission. You're a black belt under Renzo Gracie. Do you feel like Conor McGregor is running from you, considering you have the worst style for him?
I mean, he's conveniently not. We're conveniently not fighting every time out. Every time it comes up, we conveniently not fight. I don't know if he's scared of me, but he may be scared of the result. I think we're all fighters. We're not scared of anybody, but I think he's scared of what could happen. I think at 170, he doesn't have as much to lose. You know, he loses there, he still can go down to 55, still go down to 45. I think he knew it was at risk of possibly losing the belt at 45 to me.
This question's for DC. This is Devon here, right? You took a lot of damage in your last fight from Gustafsson, and you hurt your leg or whatnot. Do you think that's going to play a role in your next loss against John? Can't hear you.
Nicely done. Nicely done, my man.
And if so, explain in detail.
So the last fight actually did more good than bad. You know, I really needed to experience that. I never experienced it. You know, even in the fight that I lost, I never got cut up and beat up like that and felt the exhaustion. I thought when John and I was fighting, I got very tired from the body damage that he gave me. But I didn't realize it until I was getting just taken down and kneed by Alexander and elbowed and everything cut up by Alexander, that there was a whole different level of tiredness. So I think it actually benefited me more to learn. The leg injury, that was something very freak. You know, I mean, that could be just that I'm getting old. It's not supposed to happen. I'm 37 now, so maybe that's just things that come with age, but I'm fine, man. Trust me, like there's no hesitancy. I'd fight this guy every day of the week if they gave me the opportunity. It's not an issue.
A question for Dana. Now that Connor's out, are you finding a fighter for Nate Diaz, or he's out as well?
Yeah, so I've been on the road all this week so far, but yeah, we're going to offer him some fights and see what he wants to do. I mean, it sounded like he wants Conor and only Conor at the press conference, but we gave him the opportunity to come. You know, he was there, he flew in, gave him the opportunity to come, and I didn't want to, you know, rip him off of the opportunity to fight in 200 if that's what he wanted. So we'll see what happens.
Another question for John Jones. How was your performance in your last fight? Because I wasn't really like impressed since your last fight. I mean, I'm not saying anything. You know, your last fight with DC, you did better. Watching your fight recently, you were slower, and I seen you. Who said that? What's up, boy?
I literally,
What's up, boy?
you gotta beat me to it.
Let's get it.
I literally
you know?
just explained this.
It's just
Somebody boo that
man.
man.
It's not your turn yet. Sit your ass down.
I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. First of all, I want to applaud everybody on the stage, everybody that's part of UFC, that you guys fight and actually entertain us. It's a beautiful sport. I have a lot of honor for you guys. I'm a fan of everyone, including Dana. You have done no wrong promotion-wise. So with all due respect, I'm going to ask you a question. You might just knock it off. You might not answer it. Do you think you preventing Conor from fighting at 200, in your honest opinion, was a ploy to save his brand because he was going to get beat again?
I didn't hear it. Was a what?
Was a ploy to save Conor's brand because he was going to get beat again.
Okay.
With all due respect, like I said before.
Well, first of all, I didn't prevent Conor from fighting in UFC 200. I did not. Everybody, if you looked at the press conference, Joanna Jędrzejczyk flew in from Poland. Claudia came in from Brazil. He flew in from Brazil and then came here. I mean, people came in from all over the world. Frankie's just getting home and hasn't seen his family. This is what we do. This is how it works. I didn't prevent him from fighting in UFC 200. He knew what the deal was. I told him what the deal was, and he opted to do that. And no, I'm not. Listen, I've said it a million times. Conor asked to fight Nate Diaz. Conor wants to fight Nate Diaz. Conor and I know, if we're in Brazil, we got Brazil guys. If we're in New York, we got New York guys. Conor doesn't back down from fights, man. Conor, one of the things that's made Conor popular and as big as he is this dude wants to fight. This guy comes to fight, and he comes out guns a-blazing. Conor is fun. Conor is a stud. Conor is, I have a lot of respect for Conor. Conor and I just had, you have to show up and do the PR. You have to do it, and I will. And that wasn't a setup today when he said, he wanted to see his kids' performance. And believe me, I understand that. I have kids too, and I respect that. So we streamed it live to him so he could watch his kid perform. There were things that Conor needed. I was willing to make sure that Conor would have the things that he needed when he landed in Las Vegas, when he came to New York, or wherever else we went. We don't just say, this isn't just, hey, you have to do this. I will bend and I will do things to make it, to make it work for these guys and girls. And Conor didn't do it. That's the truth, the whole truth, and that's the way it is.
All right. I got a question for John Jones. I'm a big fan and all, but how are you going to feel when DC spanks you at UFC 200? How is it going to feel?
Next question.
This question's for Frankie.
We're gonna take two more, so make it good, sir. What do you got?
This question's for Frankie. Frankie, I know you've lost a couple really close decisions in your career. Does that change the way you're going to approach this fight, like trying to go for the finish?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been trying to get the finish more and more. It's just obviously not that easy, but fighting the top caliber guys like I do. But I stopped 3 of the last 5, and that's the plan. I want to go in there and stop Aldo and not go to the judges this time around.
Last question right here. Go ahead, sir. What do you got?
What's going on, John? Don't worry, I'm not a hater like these guys over here.
Good to hear.
Since your last fight, how do you feel coming in? You know, you think you got rid of the cage rust?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know, I'm telling you, I'm really grateful for that last fight. You know, after the fight, I sat there in the octagon and I was so critical of my performance. Then I went home and watched it, and I realized really the guy punched me twice in 25 minutes. That was it. He never landed anything. He didn't hurt me. 2 punches in 25 minutes, and I'm sitting here, you know, I have such a high expectation of myself. I'm beating myself up over a fight where I clearly, you know, dominated the fight. So I feel really good about the fight. I feel as if, you know, some fights, you know, you want to be really, really impressive, and you really want to do these, you know, awesome moves for the fans. But that fight was a smart fight. I fought really smart. I stayed out of his, you know what I mean? Really smart. And now I'm here today with no injuries, getting ready to turn around and fight for you guys at UFC 200. So that was a win. That was a win in every way. You know, I'm really grateful for that fight. There's different levels to being a high level fighter. You know, sometimes the mature move. You know, the fans were booing in the arena wanting to see a knockout. You know, but I did the mature move. I fought real smooth. You know, especially 15 months off. You know, I got punched only twice. So I mean, I think that was an extraordinary performance when I look back on it. And you guys will see the real can of whoop ass when I do what I was planning on doing against DC.
DC, I feel bad for you, DC.
You should, buddy. You should.
So let me tell you what. It's always fun in New York, man. We appreciate you guys. I know it's the middle of the week. You all came out here this afternoon. Thank you very much. If we don't see you at UFC 200, we will see you in November, New York. Thank you. And thank you, Madison Square Garden. We appreciate you.